click it.
Hold on. bit.ly/3fdsxcr. Can let me know if it worked for you guys. So I'm just going to click on that link that I sent you guys. And this is just important links for you guys to get started. So if you don't have Visual Studio Code, you just had to click on that and you can get started on installation. And then if you don't have GitHub Desktop, click on that. You can, go ahead and install it. For Windows, if you guys have a Windows, these are the two things that you have to install. And if you have a Mac, it's much easier. You don't really have to go to any website. You just go over here. Okay, I will let you guys try to install it. I'll just take like maybe 30 seconds for you guys, just go ahead and record that and be able to install it. Okay, so essentially you just put this in your terminal if you have a Mac, and then you put this, once that's done, you just install Node.js using brew install node, and then for Git, you just say brew install Git. Okay, let us take a look at this. Okay, so all right, so once you guys have that down, in order to install React, earlier you had to run this command. Now you just have to run this command instead, npx create React app. Okay, so what, I'm going to make it easier for you guys because I know that we don't have much time. Oh, hey, Steve has a question. Why do you not include the details for a Linux install? Actually, Steve, I believe that the same commands will probably work with Linux as well.
Yeah, so Mac and so for Linux, basically you do yum install. So similar, what we'll do is if we don't have right now, the email that we'll send after the session, I'll include those steps for you.
Yeah. All right. All right, Steve. So that's a good question. Now we're moving forward. So once you have all of that set up, we're just going to look at what React looks like. So here's a bubble that was formed by the Stack Overflow survey of 2020 or 2019. And they essentially stick things together that are similar, stuff that that is used by developers, skills and frameworks that are used. They just, place it in this cloud and or spider diagram, however you want to call it. And, you guys, so for people to understand where that language or framework lies. So HTML uses JavaScript and, for performing the logic. And then JavaScript uses either React or Node or Angular. Node and Angular require TypeScript. React does not require TypeScript, and React allows you to do mobile development through React Native. Okay, and Angular does not allows you to do so as well, but it's not very popular. It's not very well supported. And so React is a lot better in a lot of ways. And then there's a lot of statistics in the in the growth of React. And then also, if you notice, Visual Studio Code is one of the main text editors for JavaScript developers in general. And so, it's developed by Microsoft. It's open source. It's derived from the open source Atom, and allows installation of extensions. Very useful. And then going forward, I gave you guys a link to install Visual Studio. So just go to the website, install it. GitHub, just install it. Certification. So are there any major certifications? So if you go and, just do a search, you're not really going to find any official certifications. And so, if you look at this one, it's like $105. It's provided by Udemy, I believe. And then Udacity provides one for like 5,000, and then Harvard had one for like 11,000. So, not really worth doing, one of these. There's no official certification as such. Okay. And then resources. So this is what we're actually going to play with. If you notice over here, the first picture on the left is React GitHub. It is one of the top 5 most used packages in the world. And let me cross this one. And it's used by 3.4 million applications. And it's one of the most starred, one of the most forked. It's very, very popular. And it's open source, which is why it's growing super fast. This second picture over here is a picture of Code Sandbox. And that's something that we are going to use for React, just to make it easier for us and simpler. And then over here, you guys will see is CodePen. CodePen.io is really, really useful for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript development. And then you can also do some React development, but it's a great tool for learning JavaScript. And then React has official documents that you can, official documentation that you can use for referencing. Oh, okay, yeah, here, this is the same thing that I just spoke about. It's the second most popular web design framework after jQuery. It's the most loved and wanted web framework. It's the most used NPM package, most starred GitHub repo. Super, super cool. Where do you most popularly see React? In what kind of stacks? So most popularly, you see React in a MERN stack. So there's different kinds of stacks. There's LAMP stack, there's the .NET stack, the mean stack. So React, or for Python, there's like Flask and Django, there's Ruby, blah, blah, blah. So React, it's you most likely you find it in the MERN stack. So you use MongoDB as the database, you use Node as the backend, along with Express. Okay, so that's where you will most popularly see it. You can use React in like a .NET application. It is possible, but most commonly you'll find it in this sort of stack. So let us get started. Here's what we're going to do, just so that you guys understand what's going on. We're going to follow these steps and understand what an application looks like. So just open your browser, go to codepen.io. CodePen just makes it simple to use. And so you guys just follow these steps so we understand the basics of JavaScript that we need in order to move to React, okay? So go to codepen.io and create a login and create a new pen. So codepen.io, copy, paste. I pasted it in your chat so you guys can see it. So just go there and make an account right now. And then say new pen. So codepen.io and then just sign up. It's free. So just sign up with a free account. Okay, so once you create an account, just say new pen. And get element by ID. Okay, so I just get element by ID. Let me get this started. Okay, so you just do a document. So you created a new pen. What you see over here is HTML on the left, CSS in the middle, and JavaScript on the right. Okay, we will export it so that you guys understand what exactly it looks like. But for now, it's, you guys just should understand that every web page generally has mainly three components. It has the HTML, has the CSS, and it has the JavaScript. HTML is all the text. So if you put in any text, that's what you'll see. If you guys were able to create a new pen, please write in the text box in the chat below. I know we have 11 people who are joined. So if I can get at least 6 people or 8 people, 6 to 8 people saying yes or done, that'd be nice. So I can continue. Okay, so I have 4 yeses, 4 dones. Can I have 2 more, if not 4 more? Okay, I have 5. Come on, just 1 more. Let's do it. Okay, so let's just move on. If anyone has trouble setting it up, could you guys please let me know? Just you guys can unmute yourself. Just ask me where you guys are stuck, and or if you guys just don't want to, get your hands wet with this amazing code, just let me know as well. Okay, cool. So let's move forward. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a simple for those who don't know much about web development at all, in your HTML, generally you place everything inside this XML style tab, XML style tags. So it's markup language essentially, and you'll put it inside divs most of the time. Okay, so you'll have a div and you'll just say hello. Okay, and if you look at it at the bottom, it shows hello over here. You know, this is your web page essentially. So you can say hello world, congratulations, now you have your first website that you guys created. This is hello world. Okay, good job. So what you can do is you can add something called a class to it. This is something that people don't see. And what's the advantage of using that class? You can say, you can go inside your CSS and you can add color to it. So you can say .hello, and then you just say color and say blue. And if you notice over here, your hello world turned blue. Okay. And so that's the advantage of using class. But you can, and you know, obviously over here, no one gets to see that class. You know, they just see that it's a blue color. And that's how CSS and HTML work together. Now, if you want to say, if you want to communicate with your JavaScript, generally you use an ID. So you just say hello. So the ID and the class can be same, it doesn't matter. But over here in your JavaScript, you can essentially change what is in there. So yeah. So if I want to keep this empty, I can do so as well because I have JavaScript. So I can keep this empty, but my JavaScript is going through my HTML and looking for all the tags that have the ID of hello. And it changes the HTML inside the tags to say hello world. Do you guys see that? This is one of the only concepts that you really need to know in JavaScript, but it's very essential for you guys to understand. And generally, I would do a deep dive into JavaScript because it's very essential. But you know, we just don't have much time today. So I'm just going to go really quick. I will also stick this in the chat. So you guys look at that. And this is your HTML there. So put that in your HTML, put that in your JavaScript, and it, you know, you have magic, essentially. The other example that I wanted to show you guys in JavaScript before we move on, hey, move aside. This is it. Yeah, is I can even just give you guys the link to this code pen so you guys can see it and you guys can fork it and make changes to it. So, you don't necessarily need to style a page, especially when you're just, you know, developing it. It's, you know, you're not trying to show it to anyone. You just want to do it for your own sake. So I personally don't add a lot of CSS when I am just practicing. You know, when I'm presenting, yes, I will add a lot of CSS, make it look nice. And, you know, in the training, I'll even go over very easy ways to style your stuff, tools that you guys can use. But wait, move this aside. All right, so there is something called the Internet Chuck Norris database. So if you guys go to the internet Chuck Norris database.com, ICNDB, you can get a list of jokes. So you just go over there, ICNDB.com. It gives you like a ton of jokes. It's just like a database of jokes. What you can do is you can create your own app, and you don't need to add your own jokes. You can just get the jokes from their database of jokes. Okay? And so that's essentially what I did over here. I said, hey, add a div tag like that, and that has the ID quote, and then add a button that has an ID of get quote. So as soon as I click on this button, it gets this joke. So it says, a man once claimed Chuck Norris kicked his ass twice, but it was promptly dismissed as false because no one could survive it the first time. So you don't have to come up with your own jokes. It like comes up with one for you. So what exactly are we doing? We're just, as soon as you click on the button that has the ID get quote, it calls this get quotes function, okay? And this get quotes function just gets the JSON value. And I'm not really going to go into the details of this, of get JSON and all that stuff, because we just don't have any time left. But essentially, it just uses this URL and does some magic over here in 2 lines of code, and we're able to get a new joke every time you click. Notice how there's only 20 lines of code. 20 lines of code over here and 2 lines of code over there. Web development is very easy, guys. And out of these 20 lines, it's probably just 10 lines. Most of it is just empty space and comments, just so that you guys can understand the stuff. Okay? So I'm just going to share this link with you guys so you guys can look at it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And I'm just going to wait here for 30 seconds, 30 more seconds, okay? Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, I'm going to wait for another 10 seconds. Guys, if you have any questions so far, please let me know. Are you guys enjoying this? Is this cool stuff that you guys are learning? Do you guys already know this stuff before? Did I lose anyone? Is anyone like bored out of their minds?
I think people who are bored, they might have left already.
Yeah, okay. Now, so if you want to download this code onto your computer, just say export at the bottom right corner of your code sandbox, just say export and say export.zip. So once it's ready to download, you just say download.zip. By the way, Chandan, are you following along?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and so just export.zip file, and oh, sharing is paused. Let me. Okay. Anyway, you export it, and then you unzip it, and then you can open the distribution folder, the dist folder, and then just open the index.html, and you essentially have the files that you need to publish it on your website. And we even go through what you need to do in order to publish it onto your own website. So, the server, domain, all that stuff, it's fun, it's great. I don't know why they don't teach you, like a lot of universities don't teach you that stuff, publishing like using a domain, publishing on a host. But yeah, it'll be cool. Now, moving further, let's go to codesandbox.io. Okay. So as I mentioned, it takes a while to install all the tools onto your computer. And so an easy way of getting started with React is using codesandbox.io. So similarly, I would suggest you guys, create an account. Let me give you guys the URL in the chat. So it's just codesandbox.io. Can you guys please create an account so just sign up and let me know once you guys are in. So if I at least get 5 people into codesandbox.io, give me a confirmation in the chat and I will continue. Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. How many do I have? Okay, so I have Steve. Let's see. What about Hina? Hina, were you able to get through? Andrea, Utsu, Joseph, Ryan? Codesandbox.io, just sign up. Okay, I have Hina. Okay, let me at least get 2 more. Come on, guys. Let's do this. We're almost at the end. Utsu. All right, one more. Let's do it. Codesandbox.io. Okay, I think the others might be struggling. If anyone has any questions about the stuff that we did so far, please reach out to me. Let me know.
Yeah, please feel free to ask question because he's a very expensive trainer and we are lucky to have him for free. So please utilize him.
All right. Okay. So let's move forward. Okay. Now, once you are on your dashboard, you'll have an option to create a new sandbox. So if you look over here, it says create React sandbox and create sandbox. So I want you guys to create a React sandbox. As you guys can imagine, React is so popular that they have their own button for React. So just tap on create React sandbox. It will take a few seconds to load. So, we'll get to it as soon as it loads. Yeah, so just create that sandbox. Okay, now once you've created the sandbox, okay, thank you so much for letting me know, Irfan, appreciate it. Okay, can you share the URL like CodePen? Yeah, I think I shared the URL for the code sandbox, Steve. Or do you mean the code pen of my React app? Let's see. I think I'm in my React app. Anyway, so I'm just going to describe briefly, because we have a few more minutes left, the structure, and then we will look at another example for a more advanced look. In a basic React app, we have only 3 files. There's only 3 files needed in order to create a React application. There's the package.json, you have your index.js inside your source, and you have your public index.html. So these other files are not even needed. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this even simpler. Okay, and I'm going to rename it. Oh wait, actually let me fork it. So how do I save it? File, save. Okay, I'm going to call it simplest React app. Okay, so I basically created a new React sandbox, and now I'm just going to remove stuff from it. And I will share this link with you guys. Oh, hey, did I delete too much? Where'd it go? Come on. One piece of advice. If you guys ever do live demos, you guys should practice at least 20 times before. Because even if it worked 5 minutes before, it will still get stuck sometimes. Come on. Why is this doing this to me? Okay. If you guys already have it open, just go into your public folder inside your index.html. Let me refresh this. What's wrong with this? This is slow. Fork it. Let's fork it. Okay. Now, all right. I think this worked finally. Let me just rename this to simplest React app. Okay, and I will give you guys this link. What? Why? Why, Lisa? Why? Tear me apart, Lisa. Okay, there we go. Nice. So I just wanted to show you guys that the index.html only has a div ID root. Why is this crashing? Okay, anyway, that's fine. But essentially,
This is developer life, right? Nothing works.
essentially, all you need in this index.html file is this div ID root file. You don't need anything else in this file. Okay? And then if you go into your styles.cs, you don't even need the styles.css. Okay? And your index.js is what you need. So you just need this and that one line in index.html and your package.json file. So once you have these 3 files, you can get started with React. Okay? So here's what you need to do. All you have to do once you're done with your application is just say file, export to zip, and just okay. And it'll give you your files. And this is just advanced, like you guys aren't there yet, but if you want to be able to run it on your computer, you just open, go to your terminal, get to that folder. You can open it with Visual Studio Code, for example, and then just say npm install. And then once it finishes installing, just say npm start. So it takes a while. That's why we use Code Sandbox, which usually is very reliable. But today it's just acting weird. But essentially, once you have this, you can get to more advanced applications. So this is just one of the applications that I created. As I mentioned, your starting point of your application is your index.js. And, depending on what sort of application you want, it'll have more complicated stuff over here. But the first place that it starts is the react.dom.render. So this is the only place in your application which will have this single line. And what it does is that it looks inside your index.html for the div that has an ID of root. And just like we did in JavaScript, it just replaces that div with anything that's inside this code. So now the question is, what is inside the code? So just look for app in this file, and you'll notice that here's where it is. It says class app extends React.component. So React uses components, and this is that app component, and there's several different parts to that component. And, we essentially go through that, and then we make sure that it's exported so that we can use it outside this class. And then, you'll have a handle click event, for example. So you have this second child that is being called over here. And so when this second child is clicked, it will go ahead and call this handle event function. And so in the console, you'll see the word clicked. So if I go over here and I click on again, it says clicked again. You see, it pops up with another click and another clicked. Okay. And then what happens if I click on the first child? So the first child also takes, you see it, this on click event is handled by this function. So when I tap on do it, it again shows up as clicked. Okay, so let me change this to clicked again. And now let me say do it. See over here it says clicked again. Okay, and then, so these tags are essentially used to call groups of HTML that is linked with JavaScript. And so that's how JavaScript is extremely, extremely powerful. Do you guys want me to go any deeper? Do you want me to go any deeper, Chandan?
No, I'm good. As long as you are comfortable, I'm okay.
Okay, so yeah, did anyone have any questions so far? I will briefly also get into a little bit more. I will show you guys another example, and let me share the link of this with you guys so you guys have it. Oh, wait, let me send it to everyone. Okay, so I sent you guys a link to this particular example, but essentially what I'm also able to do is I can change this to say counter instead. Counter, and then I just have to import counter. Oh no, don't die on me. No. I think it's because like I'm live streaming, so it's taking a lot of resources. That's probably what it is. Because this never happened to me. I mean, I've live streamed doing this before. That's impossible. Anyway. This is crazy. I literally, like, last month, I did the same exact thing. Was someone saying something? Sorry, I think I missed someone. Okay. Anyway, I'll just go over this example really quick again. Yeah, this is crazy. I don't even know what's going on over here. Refresh. What browser am I using? Firefox. Firefox, why would you do this to me?
Try Chrome. Firefox, who uses?
All right, let's try Chrome. I'm just logging in really quick. Let me stop sharing. Share again. Let's stop share. Did we get too many students and so we like crashed their servers?
Is it working for anybody else or only somewhere else problem?
All right. All right. Wait for maybe 20 more seconds for this to load. I think I know why it's happening. Okay, guys. So going back, remember how we exported the zip file? So when you went to the bottom right corner, sorry, when you went to File and then Export to zip, and then we, did the npm install. And once it's done installing, it takes a while. Then you just do npm start, and it. Let's see. ls package.json npm start. Okay. I think it started. It worked magically. Okay. Anyway, so going back over here, we look at the three main files that we talked about. We have the package.json file. We have your index.js file. Okay, your package.json, pretty short. Your index.js file, and then you have your index.html file. And as we mentioned, the index.html file only needs to have div id equals root. Okay, once you have that, go back to your index.js. You just say that get element by id root. You just put in this app inside that little div. Okay, and now we're looking at components. So we have a shopping component. We have a shopping component here. And where does it get it from? it gets it from shopping.js. So that component, again, has another shopping component inside it, and that contains a constructor, and it returns the quantity 10. So if you look at this, it says current quantity of items in cart is prop.quantity, and it gets that value there. And so, essentially, I'll just close it out. I showed you guys a few examples, and I'll paste this example in the Zoom chat as well. Let me put this. Where's the chat for Zoom? Ooh, there we go. So I pasted that inside the chat. As you guys can see, it's a lot of JavaScript and HTML combined. And the good thing with React is that you don't have to learn TypeScript. It instead uses something called JSX, but that looks very similar to just HTML and JavaScript combined. And so, you guys are able to see that up and running. There's a lot of different ways that you can make it more complicated, but on the surface it's pretty simple. It's just, if you think about it as math, it's just a lot of math, a lot of high school math. It's not advanced math, it's just a lot of high school level math. It's easy to learn, very powerful to use. So moving back, I'll just end it out really quick. This is going crazy. Okay, so we go over different things like functions and constructors, all this good stuff that you guys need to understand, the different events, and you actually use all of these inside JavaScript. So React also really makes you really good JavaScript developers, and that's what's essential when you're interviewing with people. Now, what's the risk of learning JavaScript? Like the only of learning React, you don't really have any risk. If you don't commit to learn today, you probably won't learn. So you guys are already motivated because you guys took your time off, and you guys attended the session, and some of you even followed me through. So even if you guys don't want to follow with me, I highly urge you guys to not stop learning. Take what I've given you guys today as the first steps, and really sharpen your JavaScript. And then once you're good with your JavaScript, you guys can hop on to React and make some really cool applications. So this is just like a little bit. How many slides are there in this? Let's see. I think this is it. Man, this is so slow. Yeah, this is it, guys. So if you guys have any questions at all, stay tuned. If you guys would like a second version of this, where we only go over more advanced stuff and we don't really do an introduction, now that you guys already know about React, about jobs, you guys want to learn more, feel free to just email that email down there. I am also on Twitter, so you guys can, follow me on Twitter, ask me questions. Feel free to do so. Reach out to either me or Tandem. Thank you so much for your time. Tandem, do you want to say a few words? Chandan, are you there? Let's see. Chat. I think Chandan might be unavailable right now. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm here to stay for a few more minutes and answer anyone's questions if you guys just have it for me. So I'll the rest can go. Thank you very much for attending. I really appreciate the time. I will wait for 2 more minutes. In the meantime, I will just play around with some code if you guys don't have any questions. What is up with this? All right, let me check. 5 new questions. Oh, hey, before we wrap up, do you have a simple website you have worked on? Also, can you talk a bit about deployment? And cheers, thanks. Okay, so that's a great question. Sorry, Steve, I just saw your question. So it says, do you have an example of a website you have worked on? Yes. So if you just go to my GitHub, you can see a few over there. You can, I think Be Cloud Ready has a few examples there as well of websites that we did. We did sort of like a prototype for a video streaming service. That's stuff that you can do with React very, very easily, and you can actually make it look really beautiful. And about deployment, there's actually different ways that you can deploy these React apps. So once you have the code that we provided, there is there's a command called React build. So as you see over here, it says, note that development build is not optimized. To create a production build, use npm run build. So I'm going to stop this by pressing Option C. And then I just say npm run build, and then it goes ahead and creates a build. And then there's different things that you can deploy it to. So for example, if you want to deploy it to GitHub pages, because React is so popular, they have created this, they have enabled GitHub pages to actually run React applications. Generally, you're only able to run HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but they were like, okay, this is really popping up. Let us go ahead and actually follow through. Well, let's look at this. Let me close this. I feel like this is slowing everything down. Close these as well. Computer was never this slow. Oop. Okay, so it is still building, but let me go ahead and search in the meantime. So we say deploy using Firebase. That's actually very easy to set up, and I believe it's free too. So Firebase, I believe, is free, and then I think Azure, it is paid. It's only free for like 8 hours, which is pretty lame. But you can deploy your website using Firebase, using GitHub Pages. Deploy GitHub Pages. There's a lot of documentation out there. Yeah. Yeah, so deploying a React app. Go over here and I'll share this link with you. Okay. Yeah, once you're done with development work and you're ready to deploy, just create that npm run build. It takes a while to create an optimized build, but once you're done with that, just make sure you have the right version of React, and then just say React dash gh dash pages, and then once you have that set up, you just have to add this as your home page, add like this as your deploy, and essentially you're able to deploy and run your React website on through GitHub pages. It's pretty popular. I think Facebook has one. I don't remember which example I was following, but here, GitHub pages calculator. I think I have one on my profile. See, calculator. Yeah, there's a bunch of ways of pushing this stuff. So if you want to create a static server, you follow this method. And then if you want to follow, other methods, you can, follow other methods. Azure, Firebase, all that. All right, if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. Or you can just, like I said, message me on Twitter. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys were able to learn something new today and you guys had fun while learning it. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.